What is a meta? For those of you who may not know, a meta is something that happens especially in online games where something of the best occurs. And since there is a best and things have to be below said best, people only use the best stuff. They're not going to use the worst stuff. That doesn't make sense. Why would you use something that's worse than something similar that just is better in every aspect? Mathematically, damage-wise, support-wise, it doesn't matter. Recently, we were in the Outlander meta where absolutely nothing could compare with a Reclaimer or Grizzly or anything like that. There is a meta that evolves in every single game that has online updatable capacity. It just happens. And that's good because we want developers to continually shift things. Yeah, some people might hate it because their best character got ruined, but you never know what's going to come down the line and things are always changing. So that's a meta. The meta we currently are living in right now, ninjas are pretty good and are being played a lot more. However, there is something that gets released every once in a while that is meta changing. And that's why I thought it was a good title for this thumbnail, because these traps are definitely meta changing. In fact, I could go back and redo every single one of my trap tunnel videos, and those are the most popular videos on my channel. I could go back and redo every single one of them and add this trap into it. I'm not going to do that, frankly, because it's a lot of work, and you guys can use your own judgment as to where you see these go in and fit. Of course, I'm going to talk about it, but is it really necessary? You guys will see at the end of this video, if you haven't gotten it yet, how important this trap is going to be. We don't know what kind of content we're getting. We don't know how hard it might be. They might never do another 128 again, or at least for a while until everybody is appropriately leveled, or at least the vast majority of players. But if that's the case, and that's fine, this trap is absolutely still a meta changer. There's kind of a lot I would like to say in this video, so excuse me if it's a little bit rambling, but we are going to get to the trap, how to roll it, and everything like that, like I always do. I just want to speak about some things. Now, one thing when I speak about the meta and how this is meta changing is because you can list the top 4 or 5 traps off the top of your head. It's going to be gas traps, both kinds of pushers, floor spikes, and dynamos. That is just the top traps in the game. There's no argument there. Everybody uses them. You're not going to use wall darts all down your tunnel when other things do things better. It's just that simple. Now, this is where this comes into play. This new trap changes that meta to possibly where gas traps are just not even needed anymore, which is awesome because gas traps are super expensive, and changing things in the meta is exactly what we want. I'm bored of building gas traps, floor spikes, wall pushers every single game, no matter what event, no matter anything that, gets to it. It's just, I'm sick and tired of doing it. It's nothing wrong with it, but I'm always looking for innovative and new ways to trap. That's exactly why I started this series, the Trap Tunnel series, in the first place. I'm looking for new ways to kill husks and do damage and do stuff that maybe other people didn't think about, and a lot of times it works out really, really well. And this just adds to the variety of gameplay, which we desperately need. You gotta give your hat off to Epic Games. They're definitely trying to incorporate new missions. We have a farming mission now. We have that racing mission. We have beta storms. We have that cool island biome. If you haven't gotten there yet, that place is damn cool and looks great. Hopefully, it'll become part of the game. Maybe a special event, Twine Peaks. I don't care. Just put it in the game. All of these things can be meta changing, but what we're working with right now is this trap. I really feel as it deserves its own video instead of just using it in a trap video, tunnel video. It does so many things. It accomplishes so much with it just being what it is that I definitely feel like it deserves something a little special. When I woke up this morning, I was excited to check out the new patch. I got my coffee, I sat down on my computer, I booted up Fortnite, I opened up 15 llamas, and I got a couple of things. I tried out the weapons, I tried out the scythes, I leveled up the trap but never used it, and then I got ready to start my stream. I was disappointed with every single gun in the game except maybe the assault rifle, but there's a lot more testing that needs to be done with that weapon. It could be really good on a certain character, but we're going to check that out later. In fact, the only things that really grabbed my attention once I started the stream were the scythe and this new trap. And out of those two, I feel like the trap gets first dibs. Now let's talk about the rolls on the trap and what it does specifically that makes it so good. So we have here a bunch of rolls that we could use on it. Now, are you going to level up for damage? Are you going to level up for CC? Those are the two things that this trap provides, which is not the first time it's happened, but definitely a reasonable amount of each is provided due to another point, which I say in my videos constantly, the fact that it pierces. This trap literally says it on its description that it pierces targets, which is something that is so underestimated in this game. And if the game was a little more trap based, because think about it, it's a game about trapping and we barely have any to do it with. We only have electric and physical and one fire trap and a frost trap that does absolutely no damage. But for a game about trapping, we don't have that many. So we have a trap that has it all. We have damage, we have crowd control, we have piercing. The only thing it's missing is affliction, and currently the game is bugged to where it's not showing the damage numbers of the cannonballs that hit, and I don't think they do that much. If we compare them to, let's say, the wall darts, both at 130, even though these aren't true numbers, both with almost the same rolls too, we're sitting at 706. So let's talk about how you actually might want to roll this thing. Now, Fortnite kind of screwed us up a little bit, and if you want to get a double reload speed on here, which is what I'm going to suggest to you guys, because even with one perk of reload at blue, it's still a 9.4 second reload speed. So getting as much reload on here, because in this theory, it's not about the damage, it's about how many times those cannonballs can shoot out because of their piercing and bounce back effect. So they kind of screwed us here because you can only do 2 reload speeds if you don't plan on going crit chance and crit damage, and every single test in this game always shows that crit chance and crit damage is the way to go on anything in the game. So we're gonna have to change it here. The first roll is going to stay damage. The third roll is going to be where you put another reload speed, because besides the 5th slot, this is the only other slot that you can do it. The 4th slot then becomes damage, and the 5th is your second reload speed. The last one, if another Frostnite ability or event comes out, do durability. If not, keep it as either health to your building or repair. Either one is fine. That 6th perk is kind of anyway, but that's definitely how I am going to roll mine, although it doesn't show that in the video. It's just because I'm out of reperk and perk up. So I'll put it on the screen now exactly how I think you should roll this, and the reasons why are just that it pierces. You want as many cannonballs as possible and not for them to actually do all the damage. If you combine this with other traps such as gas traps or slow spikes or freeze traps or pushers or whatever, it absolutely decimates everything that comes even near the tunnel. Don't forget the fact that the range on this thing is ridiculous. I'm pretty sure we've gotten it up to about 6 tiles away and it still shoots that far. Granted, it is a projectile, so it does have some travel time, but it still does what it's supposed to do. It is in fact the new wall darts. There's no reason to build wall darts over these. None that I can find. Maybe when we get the damage numbers back, but until then, these are my go-to. Another thing that I would like to mention is this is, I think, the first trap in the game where it takes both mechanical parts and powder. Now, this is a small issue because it takes such minuscule amounts, it doesn't matter too much. If you compare it to another trap, any other trap, let's just use wall darts in this instance, it takes 3 twine and 2 mechanical and 9 things. So if we can check that against many other traps, it's always a lot of, usually it's a lot of 2 resources, whether it's nuts and bolts or batteries and a couple of mechanical parts or a couple of pieces of powder. But in this case, it's expensive and cheap at the same time. These are probably the 2 biggest or most desired items in the game, but it's also a lesser amount of these 2, which is interesting. But I mean, it doesn't affect gameplay too much, but to spam build these like we did in all these videos, it's not that costly. Lastly, this is going to cause for some other meta changing things. Now, in fact, we might have to, at least if we're trying to min-max, build tunnels that have ricochet points. You can see it here. In fact, I may make a video about this tunnel in particular. When they walk out, they get shot by both sides, and the cannonballs bounce off each other and just cause mayhem amongst the playing field. It's kind of nuts if you actually think about it. So there are a couple of cool things. You're going to be seeing this in all of the trap videos coming soon. Most likely they're all going to be in here. This, even with 1 gas trap, is overkill. But that's really it, guys. I wanted to cover this thing. I had a lot of fun playing with it. Right here is the alternator, and it's just overkill every single time. So we're going to figure out some more minimalistic builds, maybe using this. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know down in the comments below which you are most excited about out of the new steampunk weapons that we got. Next up is the scythe. I'm going to let you guys know I had a lot of fun using this and recording with it and playing with it. It's not as good as the God mode ninja build that we made, but it's close. It is close, but it's not as good. The secondary attack on this thing is awesome though. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I will see you on the next. If you want to watch live streaming, especially our Saturday streams are kind of crazy, twitch.tv/RoundedtikTak is the place to be. We hope to see you there. I'll see you on the next one. TikTak out.